Hi everyone, this is Yolanda. I know I went missing for the entire February and also the first week of March. The real reason was that I was tired after making 36 episodes on my YouTube channel. So I also wanted to take a break to pause and think. And I also dedicated 4 full days of my life on 2 courses and got these 2 certificates. Not that I needed to be certified, but I was really curious. It was such a mind-blowing learning process that I decided to turn my learnings into personal adaptations of career development and also on job search process. First of all, for those who are not familiar with Agile, Agile is a project management methodology. And if you have heard of Scrum, Scrum is one of the many Agile frameworks. The core belief of this is basically about delivering small pieces of value frequently and fast so that you're able to pivot in a very agile way along the way to respond to changes. Also, that means reducing risk from the changes. Agile breaks down this such long project management process into multiple small sprints. So 2 to 4 weeks, you work on some of the things that are top on your list. And then at the end of that sprint, you review what you have accomplished, and then you look at the feedback that you have got from the market, from the team, from the product feature, and you see where you are at that point of time. And you go back to drawing board and decide what are the items that deserve to be top on your list. So in a word, that you kind of don't have a full long-term plan. You have a very immediate term plan. You have a kind of a drawing board with all of your wish list items, but those items are always subject to changes depending on the influx of information and feedback. Next, let's discuss how we can apply the Agile mindset on career planning and also job search process. So these two are actually kind of the opposite example, because career planning is very long horizon, right? In terms of the time you may be looking at next 10, 20 or 30 years if you are rather early in your whole career journey. And then job search process can be really short. You might find something in the next 1 month or 3, 4, 6 months, right? However, both can actually benefit from having an agile mindset. Because for both, it's very similar. You start out with very limited idea of what's going to happen next. And you actually maybe have limited idea about what exactly you want to achieve as well, right? Don't forget to subscribe. If you are already a subscriber, please do give the video a like. It means a lot to me to continue with this channel. So for example, in the career planning, you don't know which industry you would actually be eventually settling in, or you don't know how each of these industries that you are interested in, how they would turn out in the near future or midterm. Similarly, in the job search process, you don't know what kind of jobs in the market would respond well to you, and you don't know how much they may offer you. You don't know how long this will take you. So if what I would like to encourage you is learning from the agile mindset, we should take a very open approach. The underlying assumption is that I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm not certain, but I would still be making small progress in that sprint, and I'll see where we are. And from there, again, there are still a lot of things I don't know, I'm not sure about, but I'll make one more small action circle, right? So that's the idea. And when we look at traditional format, is like I want to have everything at the beginning as fixed as possible before I make I take any action. And once I'm into action, I don't like changes, because it's like in this traditional format, it's like changes are the enemy, because it will force the project team to make a lot of adjustment. Well, in the agile framework, you pretty much just say, yeah, changes, it's okay, because the whole process is set up for changes. I welcome changes, and I actually actively solicit changes, and I then fine-tune my process, my product, my strategy, everything according to those inputs, right? So you can see the very different mindset. Deliver small value fast. So if we examine these three words, it's very interesting, right? Small, value, fast. When we talk about value, we are thinking about big value, right? Like some kind of career strategy that will change my life, reshape my life, and some kind of and I have this perfect recipe that will be at this optimized way to get my best number of interviews as possible, right? But the thing is, with all this, you are going to spend a lot of time and miss a lot of opportunities. So that is talks about small value fast. So at any point of time, make sure that you send out your CV, which is the best version you can have at that moment. You are taking those very valuable things back into your system, and then you do your refinement. Another agile principle that's very interesting is about maximizing things that you don't do. So I really enjoy this chart. It's about, in this 4 quadrant, you have things that are of high value but less effort. Of course, that's what you want to focus on. And then you have things that are low value and high effort. Yes, you won't even touch that, straightforward. But you also have 2 types of things: low value, low effort, and high value, high effort. The thing that is to be cautious about is this high value, high effort. Because of the high effort, the high value becomes questionable, because high effort means longer time and then more uncertainty. So what you perceive today as high value, after that long time and a lot of things may happen, at that point of time it may no longer be high value. Okay, so that's some theory that will help us to decide what to do first, what to do later, and what to not to do at all. And let's look at some real life example in career planning. So one example is, let's say you are looking to switch into finance and you don't have any kind of qualification which the industry requires. So in such case, there are a few things that you can do. You can always try to network your way into it, as some people don't believe, as some people may believe there is a shortcut. You can try to speak with someone to understand the industry better. You can also say do a kind of an internship if you are still studying, or you can do a short-term job or project that's related to finance. Lastly, you can always choose to do a CFA, right? So if we book these few things into the 4 different quadrants, you will actually see for high value and low effort, that's the number 1 thing you want to consider. That's potentially a project or an internship. You don't really need to invest a lot of effort, but you get really high value, which means you get some experience out of it. You also get to understand better, do you really like the industry? Whereas you can speak with someone, so that's really little effort, but there's not a lot of value. Whereas you can always speak with someone in the industry, this little effort is also not a lot of value. If you do take up CFA, that is a lot of value, and a lot of effort for sure is easily 2-3 years of work, right? And you would want to consider carefully, do you really want to take such a long journey, right? So obviously, within this matrix, you want to select a high value and relatively low effort. Networking may actually take up a lot of your effort with very limited return because you haven't even gotten qualified and the chance of your success is very minimum. And then the question is, what should you prioritize, right? You might want to really focus on the getting more opportunity to understand the industry through a job or through speaking with someone so that you deliver value to your career fast, although it's small value, right? And then along the way, as you get more feedback, you might start to land at a right position to say, okay, should I take CFA or not? And at some point of time, this networking into the industry, this idea was also start to make more sense. So it will no longer be in this quadrant of high effort and low value, but instead it can move up into the high effort and high value. Or maybe at that time you have already built a kind of professional network to expand from, then that would become a low effort and high value item. Another beautiful thing about Agile mindset is that it teaches us to let go. It's maybe the hardest to actually accept that things are going to be uncertain and things are going to be, there are still a lot of unknown even throughout the process. But with this mindset, we are going to hold much more steady and learn to trust this process, that we are going to improve along the way through every cycle of actions. And that reduces the anxiety and also knowing that changes will come along the way and feedback would come back into the system, it actually makes us become indeed better and much more agile to respond to the situation. Lastly, if anyone is interested in taking those agile courses I mentioned, I would definitely, absolutely, always recommend the two star trainers. One is Sam and the other one is Stu from the RedAgile. Here is the link, and I'm sure you can always reach out to them directly. I want to say I highly recommend because every second of their classes are so engaging, and you end up leaving the course not only taking these badges along with you, but also you really learn something and it really deeply ingrained into your mind and you feel the curiosity to learn more. I think that is the peak mode of learning, that we go back to our original source of learning, that's curiosity.